Hello everyone. Thank you for coming back in and checking out my newest video. I apologize for the hiatus as it was a pretty busy summer. I had a couple vacations and I've been working long hours at work. However, after this busy summer that I had, which really didn't involve cars very much, I am now ready to take on more videos and go to more things that are coming up in the fall. So make sure to stay tuned over the following months to come, as there's going to be a lot more content. What I'd like to talk about today is a topic that's being discussed a lot recently in a lot of the forums and Facebook groups dedicated to E30s, and that's the current market valuation for various forms of E30. I've been seeing a lot of discussion recently that with our current economic situation, we're starting to see E30 values drop. And when I did some research, I did not find that to be the case. You'll see a ton of discussion of people who have been into E30s for 10 years or longer talking about how there was a lot of times that they were able to purchase E30s for less than $1,000. Just like any other car, due to the current times, you can't even find a running, driving, rusty car for $1,000, let alone a classic BMW. But even as time went on, E30s were still relatively inexpensive. In fact, in 2016, I was able to purchase my convertible for $1,400. And while $1,400 sounds like it's super cheap, and it is compared to the prices today, at the time, it was only considered a light deal. In fact, later that year, I had purchased the car in April, and later that year, I went to sell it for about $2,000, and I didn't get any realistic offers at that time. Though, let's be honest, I wasn't very serious about trying to sell it, even for $2,000. And I would say from about 2017 on, you have only seen the prices sharply increase on classic BMWs and in particular, E30s, including the M3. I would say the average price for a nice running and driving, but not pristine example of a 325, even an IS, in 2017 was somewhere around $4,500 on average. And I would say that today, looking at things, the current average of what a clean 325i driver, again not pristine, E30 is selling for is between $12,500 and $15,000. In digging and doing some research, back in 2020, BRZO did a study on the market valuation at that time of the E30s. And while the M3 was still going for about $53,000, you can see here where I'm going to post a picture that the 325s were averaging $6,500 and the 318s were averaging $4,900. This is in 2020. So what happened? So to me, everything going on with the classic European car market right now, which is not just BMWs, but the market as a whole, really mirrors something that happened in the early 2000s, the muscle car. At the time, vehicles that had been relatively pricey, but not ridiculously priced, suddenly started increasing overnight, to the point that people had a couple of cars that they had invested $5,000 in, were able to sell those cars for house money and even retire. What truly had happened was a age group had finally gotten old enough to be able to purchase these cars that they had wanted when they were young. And just like anything, if there is a limited supply of something and demand for that goes up and the supply is small enough, the price will sharply increase. And since the time that this happened in the early 2000s, the prices have increased and decreased. They've done all sorts of things. However, they've remained high. Right here is a graph from Hagerty that shows that the price still has remained high even in years like 2008 where there was a significant economic downturn. And now you might be asking yourself, but DBG, what does the market value of muscle cars in the 2000s have to do with the E30 market at all? And the answer is it has everything to do with it. To me, there's one glaring piece of evidence that connects the muscle car boom in the early 2000s to the classic European car boom of today, and that is the age group of the people purchasing the cars. The average age of the muscle cars that went up in value overnight in the early 2000s was 35 years. The average age of the classic European cars that are going up in value overnight today are 35 years. So to me, the current European car boom and the old classic car boom have one similarity, and really it's that people in their mid-30s and on finally had disposable money to be able to purchase these cars that they had always wanted, maybe as a weekend cruiser or something to restore with their children. And just as I mentioned before, when you have a certain supply of things and demand goes up, so will the price of those items. So, if you're wondering whether the price of E30s is in fact going to go down, well, I would ask yourself one question. Is the demand for E30s going to go down? Well, I would say that interest in E30s has not waned whatsoever. And so demand for the purchase of an E30 is only going to go up with time, especially as the supply dwindles. And let's be real here. I know that answer is going to really piss off a lot of the E30 purists because they remember the days when you could pick them up from an old lady for $500 and you could beat the absolute crap out of them and not care because next weekend you were going to go buy another one for $500. But seriously, that is not the world we live in today. I was lucky enough to grow up around muscle cars and have a father who is very, very dedicated, especially to Mopars. My dad likes to tell me a lot of stories about how he used to pick up AMCs and Mopars and Impalas, really, really desirable cars today. And he would get them for $50 or $100 and run them in the derbies and smash them to hell and not care because the next weekend he was going to go get another one for $50. Once again, to me, it's an extreme similarity between muscle cars and classic cars and our current classic European cars. And if you missed the boat on getting in on the ground floor of the E30s, I'm sorry, it sucks. But just because you don't want to pay $12,000 for an E30 doesn't mean they're not worth $12,000. And I'm not saying that they're worth $12,000. It seems to me that the market varies pretty widely on what good driver quality, museum quality, versus restorable or barely restorable cars. To be able to get a handle on what the market for some of these higher end cars is, places and resources to use to look at their prices today would be Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer. You'll see on places like Bring a Trailer that the values that these cars are bringing in the bid system are relatively high. However, it's because there is a system that the cars that go on sale on Bring a Trailer, they have to meet certain criteria, and the people that run Bring a Trailer have to actually allow that vehicle on for auction. So that signifies that it is a very good car. I can tell you though that a lot of people go on Bring a Trailer, see a handful of E30 selling for $15,000, and they think that their piece of crap is also worth $15,000, and that really is not the case. And I would even say today that you can still find E30s for a decent value, but you need to understand that you cannot be looking in the same places that people are going to buy the pristine examples. What I would say is if you're looking to buy an E30 at a reasonable deal, start to use your local resources, such as local car clubs, your BMW CCA local chapter, and even Facebook groups which are attuned to your local area. You could also think of branching out into areas that have larger E30 scenes, such as the Pacific Northwest, California, or even here in Wisconsin. So let's recap. The E30 market is not going to go down anytime soon. In fact, it's only going to go up, maybe, with some dips and bumps every now and then. It's going to mirror the muscle car market, maybe not quite reaching the highs outside of the M3, but it is a really good time even now to purchase an E30 and sit on it for a long, long time. You can even see here, which is historical data from Bring a Trailer, that the E30 market has only gone up over the last couple of years. So stop waiting on the market, just buy the E30 already, and enjoy the absolute crap out of that thing for many, many years to come. Thank you so very much for watching my video, and if you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe.